Today I'm going to talk about how to get your child ready for kindergarten this fall. Let's get started. Growing up, I was the only child. My mom, I always tell her, you had it easy because you only had me to worry about when I was a kid. And so my mom would work with me on a lot of different things. So what I remember is I actually love to read. And my mom made a habit of reading to me every single night. Like for as long as I can remember, my mom always read to me. My mom would count with me in the car. My mom would always be doing just something that was engaging with me in an educational way. Now, of course, as a kid at the time, I didn't realize, that's what she was doing, that she was pouring into me that way. But as an adult, as I reflect on it, those things stuck with me even as an adult. They resonated with me. All the time that she spent just cultivating a mindset of learning from a very young age. But for me, it was totally different than it was for my mom, because now I'm raising multiple siblings in a household with multiple personalities, different age groups. So I had to actually learn a different way how to connect with them. I'm saying that to say, evaluate how approaching your learning. So I have 3 tips that have worked time and time again with my girls and my students here at the Academy that I want to share with you today. So tip number 1, you have to understand and figure out their learning style. What I was doing wrong all those years is I was just going off of what I had been taught myself and what I had learned myself, and not realizing that my daughter doesn't learn the same way that I learned. So that's the number 1 thing. You need to figure out, how does your child learn? Are you teaching them based on how you learned it? And I know you may be thinking, I'm not a teacher. You don't have to be a teacher, but you know your child, right? I'm pretty sure you know your child. And if you're unsure, there's a lot of resources. In fact, I believe I'll go ahead and share some with you on the different types of learning styles that kids have. But that's my number 1 tip, is you need to figure out and understand how they learn or what their learning style is. My second tip is you need to slowly and gradually introduce new information or new concepts and continue to build on that. And what I mean is, for your kindergartner right now, or your preschooler, will say, that's going into kindergarten, depending on where their level is, and once you've figured out their learning style, then you need to gradually introduce new things. So maybe they know their alphabet, but they can't recognize uppercase and lowercase letters, for example. Maybe they can only count to 5, and you want to get them to counting to 10. Well, maybe start with introducing number 6 in different forms, and what I always tell my students here at the Academy, and what's also worked for me with my own kids, is having them say it, write it, say it. And tip number 3, be consistent. Now that you've gone through the other steps, you know how they learn, you're introducing things slowly but gradually, then the last thing is you just have to be consistent with it. I promise you, if you stay consistent, it will stick with them. At this age, their brains are like sponges, like they are absorbing the information. And in fact, you're gonna see that they enjoy what you're teaching them. And it's time that they're spending with mommy or daddy, or whoever you are. If whoever you are as their caregiver, they are spending time with you and they want to make you proud. They want to please you. So if you stay consistent, it's going to be woven into the fabric of how you guys connect with one another. So as I told you guys earlier, I have a 2-year-old right now, and my 2-year-old's name is Winter. And I have been working with Winter since the beginning. Now, it's okay. I'm not saying it to sound braggy, but I just want to give you an example of where this works. So because I've stayed consistent with her since the very beginning, and she's only 2 now, she can actually recognize her uppercase and lowercase letters. She actually knows how to count to 10. She also knows her shapes. She knows all of her colors. And these are things that she's learned at 2 years old and has mastered because I actually use the tips that I'm giving you guys today. So again, it's not to sound braggy, but just to show you that this does work. So those are my 3 tips to help you get your child ready for kindergarten and beyond. During summer learning camp, we will actually continue to cultivate this learning style. So I will work with your children individually and collectively as groups. We'll work with different learning styles. So whether your child is a hands-on learner, they're visual, they work with groups, maybe they're a little bit shy and they don't know what to expect. I actually have a lot of experience working with a lot of different learning styles. So the beauty of working in a group setting is it is less intimidating. The spotlight is not all the way on them. At this age, they don't struggle. Most kids don't struggle too much with being in the spotlight, but I understand there are some that do. So the great thing about my camp is it's going to be a very small group of students in this group. Our first session will focus on math, so it will be things like our numbers. If your child already knows their numbers, that's okay, but we want to work on specifically things related to math. I'm going to actually model the Florida Best standards when it comes to my learning approach, and my tutoring approach for the summer will be based around that. I'm going to drop some tips and some tools and some resources for you guys to start familiarizing yourselves at home with what those standards are. But I'm looking forward to seeing all of your babies over the summer. We're going to have a lot of fun here, and I'll see you soon. Bye.